Today is Thursday of Holy Week, Maundy Thursday, as it's traditionally known. And today we explore the relationship between Jesus' love and Jesus' servant ministry to his disciples and through his disciples to the world. Hear these words now from the 13th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, tied a towel around himself, and then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. Jesus came to Simon Peter, who said, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You do not know now what I'm doing, but later you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." After Jesus had washed their feet, had put on his robe, and had returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to also wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you also should do as I have done to you." The Maundy of Maundy Thursday, the word itself is an English form of the Latin word for mandate, Maundy, mandate. And that word actually refers to this chapter in John's Gospel, where a little later in that chapter, Jesus says, "I give you a new commandment, that you love one another." Just before Jesus' betrayal, his arrest, and crucifixion, the very last words Jesus spoke to his disciples are all about love. His last act is to take the role of a servant and to get down on his hands and knees and wash his disciples' feet. In his notes on the New Testament, John Wesley, very interestingly and explicitly, links the practice of the love of God to obedience to God, so that the practice of love and the commandment to love are woven together. And Wesley said that Methodists were expected to at least try to become perfect in love in this life, to live out the same love that Jesus demonstrated to his disciples. In the early church, there are many examples of that. Tertullian, one of the early church leaders, says that the major reason the church actually defeated the Roman Empire without firing a shot, because the world, the Roman world, looked around at the church and saw how they acted one toward another and said to each other, "See how they love one another." And they wanted to be like that. Today, as you live into this very close relationship between servanthood and love, I would ask you today, what will you do on behalf of love? How will you be engaged in servant ministry, a servant ministry of mercy and a servant ministry of justice? And one thing more, as always, would you take a moment right now and pray for our world and for our church? Dear friends, God bless you. Go in peace. Amen.